You're characterizing the non-racist Republican as an exception. That's so bad.
Well, it's true. I mean, I'm sorry. Do you want me to fucking sit here and lie to you? I'm sorry that the reality that I've experienced is like so troublesome, but it is. I don't know.
It's just funny, honestly.
But you're saying 85% of you're saying 85%.
You're just in denial, bro.
Hey now.
What's up?
Spaghetti.
Fucking spaghetti, bitch.
Yeah, I don't know that meme.
I don't disagree.
Oh, no, it's not.
I think he's making spaghetti.
Oh, you're eating spaghetti. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
right now, right this very second.
Well, thanks for joining the stream, even though you're in the middle of your meal. Are you gonna? Yeah. I mean, I can bring your camera up if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna try to go on here.
I know. I see you're trying to do like the OBS thing.
Fucking bullshit. There we go.
I have my camera here.
Yeah.
These guys are all a bunch of.
Eye over here.
These guys are a bunch of unseen anons.
Wow, what are you talking about? Not Sean.
Right.
I normally come on. It's just
virtual.
Bunch of,
oh my
god. Okay, there we go.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
You had the face paint on.
Is this how you normally eat dinner, TJ?
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta
sit down for a nice spaghetti dinner, full face paint and shit. You know,
I gotta bring.
You have to blend into the background.
I gotta bring this up. Oh, it's
by the predator.
Bad that I don't.
So what started your shift, TJ, to being
first of all
based
TJ.
anti-SJW to a woke feminist?
Oh no.
Well, I had some other things I wanted to say first.
Oh, okay. You can say other things.
I was gonna say.
Well, the first thing is it was not a hot wax video. I don't know why people keep saying that. It was hot oil.
Oh, okay.
It was oil. Yeah.
That's why I wanted the HD copy, honestly.
Yeah, that was the main reason I wanted to come on and just be like, hey, you know, like,
listen,
don't besmirch me as some fucking wax peasant, all right?
I actually think wax is fine too. I'm fine with people doing
it was
that.
high quality oil.
You know?
TJ, is that
wait, who are you sending this video to? TJ?
I want to know, is that some kind of app, or do you really have, because I play with the apps too. I don't know if like, I can't tell if that's an app or
it's called face paint.
But so like you're just sitting down to dinner. You're like, I would like some spaghetti and here, let me get ready for dinner.
Yeah, you know, why not?
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
I
like it.
Not.
I should do that.
So
more
I was
often.
watching the fucking stream for a while, and I just like, I don't know, I'm getting bored being on the sidelines. Just wanted to jump in and see what the fuck's going on.
Cool.
All
cool.
Right. Fight.
What do you mean?
Who'd you send that video to, and why?
Why are we on that topic?
I don't know.
I
You
don't
brought
remember who I sent it to. It was it was like he said, a dominatrix. I mean, as far as I could tell, was it Actual Justice Warrior that said that? His version of events is accurate.
Okay.
As for why I sent out multiple ones, well, for one, I didn't, because both of them were kind of sent around. Like that video was already sent by the time the banana one came out.
Right.
But also, I don't really care. I have sent other people videos since then. I really don't give a shit if they leak or not. If you want to go watch me stuff things up my ass or whatever.
TJ, in our
that should be a Patreon tier, shouldn't it?
Do you have the links?
TJ, in our defense, we didn't bring up the banana. Our chat did. So, like, we would never.
Actually, TJ brought it up. In the
I was going to say.
Well, I brought it up because I saw it in your chat, but whatever. It's
okay.
Yeah, we would not. We would not. Yeah, we would not. I mean,
you guys are
I feel like we would.
No, this is a highbrow show. This is high class.
Yeah, of course.
This is a highbrow comedy show.
Yeah.
I mean, we do some lowbrow stuff too. I mean, it's not all highbrow.
Adam, no.
I refuse to believe.
Don't say that.
What are you talking about? Half that stream, I had some dumb anime head on.
That is true. You had the autism head on.
Well, that's what your brain goes for, like lowbrow. Anime.
Anime hat. Yeah, that's the lowest of low brows. Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about fascism?
Well, what about the?
I actually kind of agree with Actual Justice Warrior on that. This kind of like, I don't know. I guess at a certain point, I get so bored of the semantics arguments where it's just like, let's quibble over a definition for,
well,
3 hours
that's what I said.
or whatever. Oh, okay. Well, then you said it. Someone said it.
I have been on that train since
you guys sound very similar.
Sorry about that. I'll try to sound different. I'll talk in one of my cringy accents.
No, I meant Mauler and Sean sound very similar.
He does sound just like
I just wanted the free credit, honestly.
Racism. against the Welsh.
No, so okay, well, wait a minute. So do you feel like your position has changed from 2016 at all, or no?
I mean, it'd be pretty fucking pathetic if my position hadn't changed since 2016. I feel like.
Surely not on everything.
But I mean, it could change for the better or for the worse, though, right?
Right.
Well, that's subjective. As
I mean,
fuck, right?
Well, I know, but you could be like a full Nazi. I would argue that if you
Well, I mean, I
changed,
said I was a molecule to the left of Hitler, so I mean, like,
that's still pretty far if you zoom in.
It's all relative.
Yeah.
So what? But so you think you have changed? Do you become more leftist? Do you become more woke? What's going on here?
I don't really. I wanted to ask you guys about that woke word.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Well, woke is generally, I characterize it as people who have woken up to the fact that liberalism will not solve society's problems and want to move to a more leftist way of dealing with these issues.
All right. Okay. I don't really feel like that's how it's usually used. I feel like it's just kind of like used as a weird way to dismiss like creative decisions in television shows that people don't like.
Dude,
this
like,
oh man,
oh no,
woke.
You're describing the nightmare of my existence. Darting between streams, the words will change definition on who I'm talking to at the time. It's like, so I don't like using words anymore.
Yeah, words are bullshit. From now on, we just communicate in clicks.
People use woke to mean politically correct a lot, if that's what you're referring to. Like, oh, this TV show feels too politically correct. But
sure.
I'm saying that the ideology of political correctness comes.
But then you have a
from
show like
liberal...
The Boys that's like very not politically correct, but I've still heard people describe as woke because it leans kind of left in its messaging.
I've only seen the first
definitely not politically correct.
I couldn't comment on that, but
there's a lot of stuff in there that doesn't really seem very politically correct. But
sure, well, people can use the term incorrectly.
Wait, I don't want to tangent off. You go ahead. Actually,
I mean, people are calling Witcher woke, which I mean, Witcher seems pretty incredibly anti-woke. At least the first season is all about a woman sacrificing her baby for her job.
If you try to watch it, you will fall asleep. So
well, that is definitely anti-woke. Too, but I feel like I'm not getting an answer though. Like
an answer to what?
Well, have your position changed at all on these issues?
Of course. I mean, obviously, yeah.
But what? How did this happen? How did the change occur?
Probably mostly Donald Trump.
Okay, so I was right. A lot of this is a reaction to Trump.
Yeah, to be fair, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Fine.
I think it kind of like at a certain point, there's like a certain pressures build up, and you have like your do or die moments, and if it's like you're marching with a group of people, and then this issue comes up. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with the whole like atheism plus thing that was referenced earlier in the stream. It's like,
man, I remember.
You're marching down the. It's like, hey, we're doing this group's going here and this group's going here. Who you with? It's like, oh shit, I guess I'm going that way.
Are you still? I know it sounds like a weird question, but are you still fully like atheist? Would you say?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I haven't seen any reason to start believing in God yet. I mean, I don't know.
No, I know. It's just a lot of different YouTubers end up having different thoughts about different things, and I was just because I haven't seen this stuff in a while. That's all. Usually,
it's people that turn to be more right wing find God, not people that turn to be more left wing who find.
I mean, I've found a different sort of context through which to view religion. I don't know. I guess I have a greater admiration for Lucifer than I did when I was in my atheist heydays. But
what'd you say?
I don't.
A greater admiration for what?
For Lucifer.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Lucifer too, but I said Christ. But
I'm sorry. I misheard you.
So are you?
I thought you said Lucifer as well.
Yeah.
Are you? So I'm glad we clarified. Are you? So have you? I classify like an anti-theist as someone who believes the world would be a better place without religion. Like they see religion.
I would say I'm an anti-theist.
Okay, so you are still an anti-theist, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So why do you? So you have respect for Christ as like a character from a movie, or?
Yeah, or I mean, if he was a real person, then I guess I respect some of the things he said. Right. I respect the paradigm shift that he represented.
Yeah, he was a revolutionary.
That without religion, the world would be better off.
What's that?
Or do you think it's a guarantee the world will be better without religion, or do you think there's just a strong?
No, I don't think it's a guarantee. I don't think anything's guaranteed.
Because that's the part where it would probably the doubt for me would probably stop me from saying anti-theist.
I used to I would say that I'm less dogmatic in that thinking than I used to be, because there was a time when I definitely thought like that if you just got rid of religion, all the world's problems would dissolve away. And I certainly don't think that way anymore.
If you could kill off 2 religions, like just write them out of the script, like which ones would they be?
Christianity and Islam.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
chosen people still.
The Jews inherit the earth.
There you go.
I guess so. They got to share it with the Jainists or whoever else is left. Rastafarians. I don't know.
All right, what's your
crazy.
third one? Since you gave that answer too fast.
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait, what was
it?
Jews.
That's terrible.
Who went full Nazi? Went
Do you
full
see
one
no-
molecule left of Hitler.
Do you see no?
Man, I can't believe you didn't pick one of the ones with like an 8-armed like elephant man or something like that.
Those ones are cool, dude.
Scientology was on the table. You let it go.
But
Yeah,
Scientology's
I mean, I wanted a clean sweep of the Abrahamic religions. You know?
Do you see no value
Well, then
in
again,
religion?
I guess Mormonism is still around at this point. So
Well,
far.
that's part of Christianity, isn't it?
They got their own book. I don't know about that.
Okay. I guess the Mormons are all we have left, unfortunately. But
Yeah, maybe I should have said Mormons and not Jews.
Yeah.
But oh well.
you can take it back.
No,
Hey.
you can't. They're gone actually.
Okay.
As long as I can still have the bagels and locks and stuff, it's fine.
Nice.
How do you feel about like the eras of the internet? Do you look back on the skeptic days, era, whatever, and think like, man, if only I had done X? Or do you just feel like, whatever, that was a time, and now this is
I don't
the
really
time?
spend too much time worrying about the past because it's like unchangeable. So, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't know, learn a thing or two maybe, but that's about it.
Why did you guys all break up? What happened?
Like,
No,
oh,
I-
man.
Who cares about that? I want to know why you watch so little of our
Hey.
video. That's what I care about. Come
Hey, we're
on.
getting to know him a bit better before you start.
Yeah, you
being
know,
all
like, don't, I mean, like, Jesus Christ,
I
buy me
wanna
dinner
know-
first for
listen.
fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Okay, go
Adam,
ahead.
you got to kiss their neck before you reach
Go
the
ahead
hand
with
in
your
the
Yeah,
hands.
like,
Smaller-
come on, I need to be fucking wined and dined a little bit.
Yes.
Go ahead
Look,
with your dumb
look,
question.
TJ put on his best
Wow.
makeup for you.
I have a feeling he just had that
this
on.
makeup this whole time, you know. No, I was
He's
doing
all-
a video earlier. I was wearing it for.
I figured, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So why didn't I watch more? I don't know, because I got fucking bored. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They told you. You guys
I was
are
doing
boring.
it for like 10 minutes. I mean, well, I watched 10 minutes of it. It really pissed me off when you guys fucking said it was straw manning because that literally doesn't make fucking sense.
Well,
How
no,
can you
okay,
straw
so
man
let's
a hypothetical
finally-
fucking person.
Finally, let's get some substance going here, okay?
All right, yeah.
You understand there's the two sides of the abortion debate are both
Sure.
interested in bodily autonomy. They're just focusing on the bodily autonomy of the fetus or the, I don't know, what do you call an unborn baby? I guess it is a fetus.
Yeah, fetus. Or
Yeah.
you can call it an unborn baby.
So when
if you want to.
I don't agree. Like the Christian conservatives will say life begins at conception. I don't like that. Doesn't make any sense to me. Like right at conception, come on. But at some point you got to say, listen, there's some bodily autonomy going here for the fetus.
Yeah.
So
Sure, yeah, okay.
but you agree then though, so that you don't.
No, I
obviously,
mean, I don't know. I guess that there's always going to be argument about like when,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I
but
mean, I
do
don't
you
know.
have
I
a position
generally,
there?
as for like when life begins,
Yeah. Well, we
or when rights should be extended or whatever.
yeah,
Well,
sure.
I mean, are you in favor of abortion up till conception or what?
Up till conception.
Up
What
till
is it?
conception.
That's not really
There you go.
possible.
That's
Sid.
just
You're right.
castration at that
Up
point.
until
I don't know.
birth. Okay. Up until birth.
I'm scared of your world, Sitch.
The scary place.
Up until birth, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would say tentatively yes, but
Really?
I would
Okay.
say
Really?
I'd be more comfortable with viability, I guess. But
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty big gap, though.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not, if I had to choose, like if it was like all
You
or
have the
nothing, I would
buttons.
I'd take up till birth before I took like a middle ground. But I would say fetal viability is probably
Really?
the benchmark that makes the most sense to me.
Okay.
I could totally see
when
why
is
you would-
viability?
For
What's that?
first two, you can have abortion in the first 2 trimesters according to the viability.
Yeah,
no,
I
that's
mean,
according to Roe.
There's definitely been some people who have been born within that time period and lived on. Actually, one of my sisters was at the time the most premature baby ever born to survive.
Right.
Wow.
She was born in must have been the late 70s, early 80s, actually.
So
Do you know how many weeks it was?
when
She was written up in a number of medical journals. I think she was born after 4 months or something like that.
Wow.
So when we accused you of straw manning, we were accusing you of straw manning because you were saying that conservatives only wanted to control women's bodies,
Right.
when that's not really the case. Their belief system is.
But you
that,
have to. But wait. But like, well, my point is that you can't speak for all conservatives. My point is, like, you know, if I make a criticism that's very general in nature, you can't call it a straw man unless I specifically picked a target and the argument does not apply to what they've actually said.
Well, the argument literally is a straw man, though.
But wait, so the right all the time says the left just wants to kill babies. They enjoy killing babies.
Right.
Like, is that not a straw man?
I mean, it's not a complete straw man because there could be people on the left who do just enjoy killing babies. I don't know.
Yeah, but like
if they say the left in general, like everyone on the left is like that, then I guess that could be a straw man. But I don't feel like I said everyone on the right just wants to take away bodily autonomy. I said that people wanted. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I did say that, but
well, straw man is an argument that's easy to defeat, and obviously.
Well, a straw man is it's when you put a position in your opponent's mouth that's not
it's easy to
what they
defeat.
actually believe.
Like
but I genuinely believe that there's tons of conservatives out there who do not give a shit about fetuses or fetal viability or any of these things and just want an excuse to control women.
To be fair, do any of these conservatives openly claim that's what they want? They just want to control.
I've never heard anyone make that claim.
Because even then, even by your definition, you'd still be straw manning them. Even if that's what they truly wanted, you know what I mean? I feel like a straw man would necessarily be a position they don't hold, not just a position they're covert about. Otherwise, the standard. I mean, if we're going to go to that, if we're going to go down that road, then like literally anybody who states their opinion cannot be. You can't argue that that's not their genuine motivation. Like you could. You know,
who cares about motivations that much? I got a question about viability though, because that's like your standard.
Never mind on that. Then.
No, come on. It's the straw manning's way more interesting.
No,
who
a straw man is where you
cares about the viability? Look,
okay, a straw man is where you take a weaker portion of somebody's argument and you construct it and take that down rather than their own argument.
Are you pro-life or pro-choice?
I'm not only pro-choice. I'm pro-choice to send the children to the mines. We need to bring back child labor.
I like that. So I guess everyone here is pro-choice. So, but we argue
point
with
is way more interesting.
Well, I'm assuming everyone's drawing the line at different points, and that's like the big debate. Which is why I do err on the side of, if you're going to talk about this topic, you probably should reference the fact that why not reference the best arguments from both sides instead of just saying you fuckers, you just want to kill babies. Right. It's like, all right,
baby killers versus women's body controllers is just. I mean, it's two straw men.
Well, but like, to get to the point though, like, so like a fly lands on someone's head, you know, and you take a hammer and you smash them in the head with it and you murder them. It's like, well, Your Honor, I was just trying to kill a fly. It's like, well, I don't believe you. Oh, well, you're straw manning me. It's like, I don't know. Like, we just have to take everyone at their word. No one can employ deceit as a tactic. Like, come on.
Yeah, but so you're saying all of people arguing about abortion on the pro-life side are employing deceit? I mean, let's break it up. How many are employing?
No, I don't think all. I think there's a
so
lot
how
of
many are employing deceit and how many are?
How the fuck would I know? I don't know.
Well, if you're going to make an argument that
I'd say enough for it to be notable.
But if it's 5%, why would you say 5% are employing deceit?
More than 5%.
Okay, so if it's 20%, why would you tar the other 80% who are operating in good faith by saying that their argument is that they want to control women's bodies?
Because it's more fun.
Yeah, but interesting. I don't know how.
Our audiences on the internet so fucking brain dead. Have you never employed hyperbole? Have you never fucking made the case a little stronger than it needed to be made just for comedic effect?
It's creating a negative stereotype
or whatever. You know,
I don't think it's dangerous at all to do that if you have your audience believing for even a second that their entire opposition want to kill or control women's bodies. Wouldn't that maybe encourage them to think, yeah, fuck these people?
Well, that's the point, right? I want them to say fuck those people.
Yeah, but you don't want to go too far because then they might do something.
Well,
you know what I mean. I'm going way further than just voting.
But now we're talking about the point of there was a actual justice warrior brought up earlier. It's like, well, how accountable are we for the shit we say? You know, do we believe in free speech or not? So should I be censored because I said something that was like we're not too strongly worded?
The better argument for the argument of speech here would be, shouldn't you speak accurately instead of dangerously?
I don't know if it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's a common talking point.
I think there's a lot of people on the right who are fucking. I mean, like, look at actions speak louder than words, right? I think when you look at the totality of actions from right-wing people on this issue, it's like we're pro-life, we care so much. But then it's like every social program. You know, this guy right here is he says he's pro-choice, but he wants the slave mines back, right?
No. You have to pay them. Don't be ridiculous, TJ.
Well, sure.
Jesus, what's wrong with you?
The minimum wage mine.
Here's your here's your 10 cents, Billy. Whatever the fuck. Yeah. We could be paying him company script, right? There we go.
No, you got to pay them.
Sold my soul to the company store. I don't know what your beliefs are, so I don't know. I could be strawmanning you right now. I probably am. But yeah, I don't know.
So you say that the point of the video more so then was to rile people up a bit of being like, because you want people to act more and save the sort of rights in relation to this. You'd rather use organizational.
When it comes
TJ, I got a question for you.
When it comes to these kids, though, like there's so many kids out there that are hungry. It's like, let's cut the food stamps. Let's do this bullshit welfare to work shit. Let's fucking do everything in our possible. Like, it's just like the George Carlin routine about if you're preborn, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. They don't care about anything in your life after you're fucking born. And you notice all these fucking pet topics about Republicans center around breeding. They love breeding all of a sudden. It's like their favorite fucking thing in the world. Don't be gay because gays don't breed.
Well, breeding is a lot of people.
Wait, TJ, are you in favor of murdering homeless people?
No, not typically.
Would you support then why don't you let them live in your house?
I don't know. I guess I have enough room here. I guess I could probably let a couple live here.
Would it be fair for me if you said you shouldn't murder homeless people? Would it be fair for me to respond to you? Well, you're not taking care of them, so you have no say in it.
I mean, I would if you were to say to me like we should use tax dollars to house homeless people, I'd say yeah.
Yeah, but that's not really the question.
But that isn't a way
because like the idea of the pro-life position,
person, right?
But the idea of the pro-life position is abortion is murder. So if you're saying, oh, well, you can't be opposed to murder because you won't fund, childhood formula program X from the federal government, that's not really an argument. That's just.
But I mean, like, well, it is.
You're talking about something completely different.
No, I'm not, because you have to actually look at the practical, real world results of the shit you say. You can make a bold moral declaration about how abortion's murder. But the result of that is a bunch of unfucking wanted kids running around, a bunch of hungry mouths to feed that people might not have the means to feed. Your policies brought those people into this world. Take some fucking responsibility for them.
So if all those programs existed to the extent that you would like, would you change your position on pro-life, pro-choice?
That's actually a good question. Maybe I'd have to reevaluate it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair answer. Like typically people make this argument, they wouldn't change it no matter what, but you know,
I mean, I think that it's a strong, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd be something to consider.
I will point out that these pregnancy centers and all these like church organizations actually do provide formula and clothes and counseling and create support groups and all that.
Charities do. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's better than saying that somebody should do something, in my opinion. Like they're actually doing something.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know. You don't know. I don't know what your track record of giving to charity is. You don't know mine. So we could both.
Well, I know you give to charity. I would assume. I've seen you do charity stuff.
Right. So, yeah.
But I'm saying if they're pro-life and then they're also providing support for the mothers like after out of their own pockets, rather than saying, I'm going to vote for this guy and then hopefully they'll pass a thing that raises food stamps 1%.
I would say those people have a lot more credibility in terms of me believing that they are actually concerned about the fetus.
No, but then like so if those people have the credibility and then you're arguing against them, what's your counter argument other than like?
I'm not arguing against them. I'm arguing against the people who believe the other thing.
Okay.
You know, because like there's the worst version of every.
Oh, you also wanted to know which fascist attributes I had. I remember. So rejection of modernism. I think that everyone should have some rejection of modernism in them. Cult of action for action's sake. There are definitely times when I'm sick of talk and I just want to see something done, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. But I mean, obviously, fascism is appealing. That's how it's sold to people.
Do you
Disagreement is
understand?
treason. I'm definitely very anti-disagreement. Appeal to frustrated middle class. That's yeah. I mean, who the fuck doesn't? Contempt for the weak. Yes. Machismo. Yes. Selective populism. I think everyone's selectively populist. So, but I don't know that everybody fits all 14 criteria.
I mean, you're hitting a lot of them.
Yeah. That
was about half. Yeah, that was about 7.
Yeah, and if we went through the rest, we might even be able to broadly argue and stuff. I don't know. I find that useless, like entirely.
Yeah, that's what I was
don't
going
know
to
if
say.
it's
Do you
useless.
understand
I mean,
our
if you want to
critique?
say it's
Do you understand our critique on that?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you understand our critique on the 14 points that they seem excessive?
That was the time when you guys were talking about that. That was actually when I had to go shoot my video, so I kind of missed that.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
So I wouldn't necessarily call you a fascist just because you hit a bunch of those points on.
Yeah,
I had 7 out of 14. I think it's like a matter of like. I don't know if it's just about hitting the points. I think it's also about extremity of expression of those points as well.
Well, no, I think nationalist,
said that.
ethnocentric nationalist is kind of the real definition of fascism. So, I mean, you don't fit that criteria, right? You don't seem like an ethno-nationalist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even believe in nations. Or
okay, well, that would be it.
So.
You don't believe it. So wait, you don't believe in nations? What do you mean?
I don't. Well, I don't. I obviously believe they exist.
Right.
I don't think they should. Yeah.
So just open borders for all countries? No,
not open borders. No borders.
Okay.
Yeah.
How is that going to function, I guess, logistically?
Oh, like as, one world government.
Oh.
To a super nation.
Right. Okay. So basically, maybe you could consider nationalism as like a Earth nation. Yeah, I don't know.
But that's like, I was about to say that's an ideal, but that's mostly just a pipe dream, right? How are we ever going to get there?
I mean, I would assume that where we're at now would probably be a pipe dream to a fucking Neanderthal.
Okay, so we agree.
Well,
yeah, like thousands.
My whole point is that by the time we get to like Star Trek levels,
I don't expect to see this in my. I'm not like expecting this to happen tomorrow or something.
How do you deal with the fact that Chinese people don't speak English?
Hang on. But my whole point there is that isn't it worthwhile advocating for like policy and change that we can actually get in our timelines instead of like appealing to, I would like utopia.
Well, I was asked if I was an ethno-nationalist. I mean, I just said I don't believe in nations. It wasn't like, it's not like something I go around advocating for nonstop.
I thought you did. I could have sworn I saw a video.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it. I think it's a good thing to aspire to.
Oh yeah, because I don't know. I find the discussion on borders super interesting in general. Because
I mean, I think they cause a lot more problems than they solve, but that's my opinion. Obviously, people, the more right wing you are, the less you're going to agree with me.
Well, in terms of actionable policy, I mean, should America have should America just let everyone in, no criteria, no borders control?
No, I don't think that would be good for us. No.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you don't have that position.
No, I wouldn't advocate opening borders. I mean, this would have to be like an international negotiation where all countries like unanimously
did it simultaneously.
Simultaneously agree to dissolution towards something else.
Right. Okay.
Which obviously is very far fetched with our current paradigm.
Yeah.
Are you down with like mercenaries running the show and being responsible for most of the military force that's exercised?
Mercenary. I mean, yeah. Well, I don't know. What would you qualify as a mercenary versus just like an ordinary troop?
A private military contractor. Like,
no.
Yeah, because that's what the whole like piece of Westphalia was meant to resolve. That's the predominance of the nation state. So like in its function of, kind of containing the force at the state level, the nation state have actually worked. Now we have some private military contractors typically, but they're usually partnered with the United States of America or with an individual nation. They're not, starting off.
Yeah, I mean, like just because I don't like a paradigm doesn't mean the paradigm that came before it isn't worse. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I mean, the nation state solved that problem. But I think that if we had a global society, you could also have whatever government that, manages all that would provide the military force to whatever extent it was needed.
Yeah. I mean, why would they need a military force except to fight its own citizens?
They hopefully wouldn't unless they were like needing to quell like a rebellion or something. Which I'm
They should be
assuming
like
would
a
still
police
probably
force.
be an issue. I mean, yeah, it would be more like a police force, I guess. It'd probably be robots at that point if we survive long enough. I mean, like I know we all saw the video of the Spot with a machine gun mounted to his back. So, I mean, it seems like that's not too far off.
Was that? I don't think that was AI controlled though. I think it was just like a remote, like a guy with controlling the gun on a remote control robot.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
So.
I didn't look too far into it, but I mean, you know, you just see where it's headed.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
You got
I
all
don't know
your...
where we go from here in the conversation.
Well,
do we?
Somebody
what else do
wrote
you hate about
global
each other?
homo cringe in the chat and just made me laugh.
Global homo. Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't.
Well, people don't like globalism in general. I think, there's a lot of. Well, actually, did I write a video? Did I make that video yet? I don't know. I have a video script floating around somewhere. Oh, the teleprompter thing. I wasn't upset about the teleprompter. I was upset at Sitch for calling my rant poorly structured. That was what upset me.
I apologize.
Oh,
The teleprompter.
Wow, Sitch folded
So
straight away.
The thing
I mean,
with
it
the
seemed-
ruins
I'll admit it seemed
everything
a
for
little
So the thing
everyone.
with the
I stand
the thing
by
with
that
the
critique.
teleprompter is I don't actually have a teleprompter. I just have a Word document open on my desktop that I was like reading from.
Right.
Yeah, I assume you
and
didn't have
that's
like an actual teleprompter.
Yeah, and people know I do that. I mean, I talk about it plenty. It's not like a secret. I mean, you can see my eyes darting over there. And
A lot of people don't recognize that, though.
Oh, well, I don't know. It was the poorly structured thing that pissed me off because it's like it's structured to sound like a rant. It's supposed to sound casual. I mean, and I don't understand the idea that like it's like it reeks of artifice to speak with a teleprompter because like for me it helps me stay on track. I mean, you see like how fucking long-winded shit can get when I'm just like left to my own devices. So yeah, I mean, it's helpful to have a focal document, something to help me.
Did you guys say
stay on track?
Did you guys say it was bad to have anything close to a script, or I don't remember?
No, Adam was just saying that he didn't like that it was so visually apparent that he was reading from something.
He was saying that maybe you should get a teleprompter so that way it's over the camera and then it will bother Adam less.
Well, my setup's a little weird. I have 4 monitors here. And the position of the camera means that if I had a teleprompter here, it'd be very difficult to see all 4 of my monitors. It's already kind of a struggle to juggle all this.
They got little
shit.
ones that go over the lens. It's amazing what technology can do.
Really? Wow.
See, I didn't know that. All right, thanks, Sean. I'll look into that.
And we used to use one when I used to work at a real job with real people.
Cool.
But I go unscripted now, so I am saying any kind of a script is garbage. Just think about the words all day and then like say it and then fix it in editing.
Oh yeah. That's the problem is I don't like having to edit. I try to avoid editing if I can. So doing it in one take. That's why I didn't cut out that, the part where the video. Also, I thought it was pretty funny.
And
with no
that's
audio.
a shame
The
because
video had no audio to it.
I got OG memories here. I remember the Distressed Watcher when you used to edit a lot more. Make some videos on movies and stuff. What happened to that?
Oh, I don't know.
We can all have a bad performance.
I've always hated editing, and like the less I can do of it, the better. That's my belief.
Does it weird you out that Adam legitimately thought that your face paint was some kind of filter? Like he can't tell the difference between something that's real and like CGI.
I don't know. I mean, like whatever. I mean, I feel like it's kind of complimentary because it means that something that my face paint was good enough to look like something that could be a filter. So I'll view that as a positive.
Mine's face paint too, so that's cool.
Wow, very well painted.
It's incredible face paint.
I like the cat.
Sorry about that. So let's continue our dialogue.
Well,
yeah, I don't know. Is there anything even left to?
Well, I mean, these guys are like drifting off into like substanceless. I mean, your critique of us.
How dare
your critique of us? I think. Well, I'm dead serious. You guys are like completely all over the place.
Well, okay, bring up free speech then. That was the one.
Well, I mean, the whole point of like, listen, we're sitting. Look, TJ, anyone can have a bad performance. Like we judged you on your performance, and we said the performance was not.
I disagree.
Not
I don't know.
great.
Like
well,
this
no,
could just be like a difference in sensibilities because like to me, the way you guys do your show a lot of times is like way too low key, and I'm trying to match
we
that
have
energy.
we have bad performances too. I mean, like anyone.
I was
can
gonna say the
have an
last show
off
I was
day.
on was fucking way too high strung.
Yeah, of course. So, but like the performance is one level of substance. But I mean, you actually made the video about freedom of speech, where you were saying that because because the right wing is hypocritical about freedom of speech, that may put you in a position where you feel like you can be hypocritical about, or not necessarily hypocritical, but you're like, freedom of
Just
speech
do
is
away
not
with it.
important. Yeah, exactly. That's the substance of your video, and we covered all of that.
I would say
later on.
I mean, well, I didn't get to that part, obviously, but
Yeah, I know. That's why. My first question: why did you watch so little of our video?
Well, no, we can move on. Why watch
got a bad
those about the
impression.
free speech issue?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Also, who goes first?
Well, okay. So in your video, it sounded like your argument was that because you think the right is hypocritical on free speech, that therefore the left should just throw the concept of free speech away.
I think people should just start to be honest about what they really believe. And as far as I can tell, most people use the term freedom of speech to bolster their position when it's convenient, and then they throw it in the waste bin when it's no longer convenient. And I think people should just admit that and stop kind of trying to lionize this concept. Stop trying to disingenuously present themselves as some sort of like free speech absolutist, and just admit that they use it when it's advantageous and then they throw it away when it's not.
So I agree with you on that point. But as a society, since we know that is the tendency of humans to do, if you believe in a society where freedom of speech is important and there's some sort of mechanistic process, it's some sort of mechanistic process for us to work out our disagreements without coming to blows, violence,
Sure.
then somebody has to police these hypocritical people that are all around us. And they're on both sides. I'll admit they're on both sides. Like the woke people are the first to throw free speech away when they're winning, and the Christian conservatives are the first people to throw free speech away when they're winning. But somebody has to step up and say, hey, freedom of speech is something important. Freedom of speech is something that we need, especially the people who end up in the minority, who can be subjugated by other people. They're the ones that need it most.
Sure, but then you also see, like there's video of I remember I covered it a few years back.
But
I'm Richard Spencer, where he was he was like, obviously he was a pretty fringe figure.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to one of his little flunkies and stuff, and they're sitting there, and they'd made this big freedom of speech argument to defend their right to go out and espouse their views. But, when they thought no one was watching or no one was listening or whatever, one of the guys was like, so do we believe in freedom of speech? Like, obviously he knows the answer, but he's like, in this context, in this moment, do we? And Richard was like, of course we don't. No. Absolutely not.
But TJ, I've already conceded. I already agree with you. I agree with you that most people want to get rid of freedom of speech.
I'm not making the hypocrisy point here.
Okay.
I'm not making the hypocrisy point with that. The point I'm making with that is that there are people out there who will use our naive love of freedom to destroy freedom.
Well, why would we give up freedom in response to that?
Yeah, that's my question. That's the point of your video, that you're saying, okay,
well, it's like,
since we've lost it, let's just give up.
Deciding to get stabbed in the hand rather than get stabbed. It's like, why would you block, if you're trying not to get stabbed, why would you block the knife with your hand? It's like, so I don't get stabbed in the fucking heart. It's because this damage is not as bad as this damage.
So
if I can give up this freedom here to not be stabbed in the hand, if it prevents me being stabbed in the heart, I'm going to take the hand stab.
Right. So you're saying speech prohibitions will lead to our safety.
Freedom.
You're saying
like
the left's
you have to maximize
prohibitions
freedom.
Would,
but I mean, like, you can't. I mean, it's like you can't just fucking have a system. If you just leave everything to its own devices and just say, you know what, non-interference. This is basically like the libertarian philosophy. It's like, you know what, true freedom is if everybody just steps aside and just lets things happen. There's no regulation. Everything just goes the way it's going to go.
Does anyone in here think that, out of curiosity, that we should let it all to its own devices, no TOS or rules
for speech?
No.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a
obviously,
free
just for
speech
anything.
absolutist.
when
For
you
society
separate
in general, just
when
like
you separate
stepping
out
outside.
when
I
you separate
was
out
just
the
curious.
when you separate out the fighting words, threats, we all understand that. Yeah, 100%, because I
That's why I
believe that
wanted-
free speech is a good in and of itself, and TJ seems to be making the case that freedom of speech is only good if it produces other secondary good outcomes.
Well, no, I would say beyond that, like sometimes you have to curtail speech to protect speech broadly.
Yeah, I assume that was your point. You're saying like the left's prohibition of speech will prevent a greater and worse right.
I mean, I'm not going
prohibition of free
to say
speech.
anything for the left or whatever. I'm just talking about my own beliefs here.
Well, you're on the left, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So,
But I only speak for me. I
assume-
can only speak for myself because, like, there's a lot of people on the left that certainly don't
No, that's
speak
fair.
for me. So, I don't want to presume to speak for them either.
Just
So
to
you're-
clarify, would you agree with this characterization of your position being that the left's prohibition of speech is in order to prevent a greater and worse prohibition by the right of speech eventually? Trying to stop.
I don't like taking it to the group level, but sure, I guess.
Just broadening it out.
Sure.
Because you think
Fine,
a great
fair enough.
you think it cancels out a greater evil, I guess is the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a greater repression.
Meanwhile, I guess the response argument would just be, but it's a fundamental thing that we should believe in and fight for no matter what.
Well, there's two responses. One would be that you can't destroy the thing you want to protect in order to protect it in the future.
Well, you're not destroying. I mean, it's not destroying it is the thing.
Of course it is. Wait, as soon as you say we can curtail free speech, in order to prevent, right wingers.
Do you not believe in any
X.
curtail? I mean, you believe in curtailing freedom of speech in certain instances, right?
Of course.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
But how come
But
your
not
instances don't destroy it, but mine do?
Because mine are about people lying intentionally. Mine are about protecting intellectual property. Mine aren't about ideological reasons.
Okay, so that's the distinction. It's about ideology.
Well, you're essentially making the Marcusean repressive tolerance argument
Right.
that we have to make some repression in order to prevent the evil right wing.
I'm not familiar with that argument. So I mean, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I don't know.
I mean, you're familiar with it in that you used to make videos condemning this very idea for years.
I remember I condemned the Karl Popper. It was one of the worst videos and worst arguments ever made.
But I understand if you're not familiar with this by name, but essentially this is the argument that this guy made is that the right wing is
tolerance kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did make videos against that, and that would probably be one of the very few things I would definitely completely disown. So I would say I've completely flipped on that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the arguments that I made then hold water. I think they were naive. I think they were idealistic. I think I used to have a sort of faith that in the open marketplace of ideas, truth would always win out over lies, but I've seen that that's not true. And so I've readjusted my worldview.
Do you think
accordingly?
Do you think that in a more repressed society where, the dominant ideology is trying to prevent these fringe ideologies, with all the best intentions from coming to the forefront, that will lead to truth winning out?
Yeah, there's a tangible.
I was saying, do you think that in the world that you're creating, where you're trying to just get rid of these bad opinions that might in the future make society worse, all for good intentions, that will work out to truth coming to the forefront?
One would hope.
I mean, there's so many tangible examples right now, though, of scientific research being stifled because their research comes to conclusions that people can categorize as hate speech. So they basically have to retract. Well, all this scholarship around sex and gender. If they come to the wrong ideological conclusions, they make them. So I mean, you're saying that you've been disillusioned by the idea that freedom of speech would
I would say that I don't think any
truth.
scientific paper should be censored or
But they're being
refused
censored
to be
under-
peer reviewed or whatever.
They're being censored under the rubric that speech should be censored because uncomfortable truths can do tangible damage to certain communities. So
yeah, I don't really buy into that notion. So I would never buy into the notion that any sort of truth of any kind needs to be censored unless maybe it's like military secrets or something of that nature.
Right. But I'm only
you...
bringing it up because I'm saying you've made a declaration that you think truth is important, and you've been disillusioned by the idea.
I think there's not much of a difference between what I believe and what anyone else on this panel believes. I think everyone here makes exemptions and exceptions to freedom of speech.
Even
mine are being treated by a different standard because of criteria that frankly don't. I don't know. They don't really make any sense.
Well,
to
okay,
me.
this is okay. Let me wait. Well, hold on. This is what's happening. You're doing what I said. I don't know if you listen to this part. You're doing what I said is called attacking the mot, which is that you're saying that
packing the mot,
attacking them. You're familiar with Mott and Bailey, I assume, as an atheist, right?
No.
Okay, Mott and Bailey is like when you say, refers to the Mott and Bailey castle. The Mott is the wall and the Bailey is the castle inside of it, and this is like the Mott is the forward-facing argument that someone puts out that is
it Mott or is it moat?
It's Mott.
I've always said moat.
M-O-T-T.
You can conceptualize it like a moat, but it's a Mott.
All right, gotcha.
The Mott is the forward-facing argument that someone will put out that is defendable. So using abortion, for example, the right wing says, we care about, the life of the fetus. That's the Mott. Because it's it's socially acceptable to say you care about babies.
Right.
But the Bailey is the quote unquote real secret argument. And you're saying with abortion, that's, they want to control women's bodies.
Right? Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what the Mott and Bailey is. The problem, and you're saying that that's the thing that's happening with free speech. You're saying, the people on the right are using this Mott of we care about free speech, but that's not really what they care about. What they really care about is the Bailey argument that they just
I would not exclusively leverage that criticism at the right, by the way. But yes.
Oh, I'm just referencing in your video.
Sure.
Because I think you said they just want to call people the N-word. They just want to be bigoted, racist, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the reason the Mott and Bailey argument, this happens in every argument you probably ever had in your entire life, where you at least sense that maybe someone is kind of giving you a better argument than what the true intention is. Mm-hmm. The reason that plays out is because they're giving you the socially acceptable argument that everyone agrees upon. And the problem is sometimes people get so fed up with it. They're so focused on trying to get to, quote unquote, their secret argument that they end up sacrificing the socially acceptable argument. And that's kind of what you're doing, where you're saying, because they're using free speech to defend their true nefarious intentions,
I think you have this backwards.
Free speech. We have to do away with free speech.
The Mott and Bailey thing, I think you got it backwards.
It's a moral Mott and the badass Bailey.
No, I just mean that the Bailey is the harder to defeat
Bailey.
argument.
Never
the
mind.
Mott is the easier to defeat argument.
Regardless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's
whatever. The concept I think is sounding.
Yeah. Just okay. No problem. I was getting confused.
I don't know. I don't really. So wait. So let me just try to
No, you're actually you're wrong, Mauler. I don't even know why you said that. I'm correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you are.
I'll send you a picture.
I'll let you guys work this out while I just.
I was gonna say I've used this several times. I don't think you've used it right.
Let's not get caught up on Mott and Bailey. It's not important.
Go right ahead.
Let's get back to the freedom of
so
speech
let me see
stuff.
if I understand what you're saying here. So, regardless of what's the Mott, what's the Bailey, all this shit, regardless of that, what you're saying is there's a socially acceptable forward-facing position, and there's a secret, more nefarious position, right?
Right.
That's easier to defeat, or at least more unpopular.
Yes.
So what you're saying is that I am looking at the Republican version of that, where it concerns something like abortion, say, and I am.
Well, let's use free speech because that's a little
okay.
more.
Well, free speech then. So I'm looking at their use of hey, we believe in free speech, but really their actual intentions are they're using it, on issues where they think it can advance them, but then other times they're actually against it.
Right.
And I'm saying, you think that I'm using that basically as a justification to say, well, maybe the whole shebang is a fraud or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, let's just tear down the Mott. Let's tear down the wall of the free speech argument completely.
So let's just get rid of the socially acceptable thing because they're using it as so basically they're using it as cover. So let's just fucking erode that. Let's just get rid of that.
Exactly.
So that we can cut to the meat of where they're at, basically.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I get you. So why I don't think I'm doing that is because I would liken it more to let me see if I can come up with a fucking metaphor or analogy or something off of the top of my head here. Let's just fucking not even fuck with metaphors. Basically, what it is like, okay, so you have a right wing that's trying to come to power, but like, what ideas need to be censored? I think it might make more sense. I think it might make more sense to focus on like what sort of things I would advocate, what sort of instances I'd be like, hey, here's where like some censorship would be useful. And to me, you know, it would be deceit on a mass level, because I find it very strange that it's okay for one person. Like if one person goes and deceives another and says, hey, you know, I got this like magical flimity flam device that's going to, you know, cure your cancer and do all these crazy things for you. And it's just, you know, $1,000 or whatever. And you know, any disease you have, that person is guilty of any number of crimes, right? That's a con man. But if you tell an equally deleterious lie en masse, it's like, oh, well, now all of a sudden it's like, well, that's their freedom of speech. Right. So, I feel like maybe that kind of thing should be a little bit more examined, truncated, dealt with. And I think that's I don't know, it's a controversial opinion in a lot of circles, but I really don't understand why.
Do you have a specific example for the mass one? Because if you try to sell a cancer cure to the public and you call it a cancer cure, you'll face the same consequences, like whether you're doing it around the block or nationally.
See, like a lot of the stuff, because of YouTube's policies, is actually kind of hard to discuss without putting this channel at sort of like monetization risks or graver ones. But, you know, there was a lot of things that happened around, you know, COVID and the election and things of that nature, where there was some deceits that were engaged in that, you know, I think probably should have been treated a little bit more seriously.
We covered the January 6 hearings, and I mean, they didn't nuke our channel.
I don't know anything about the January 6 hearings.
He's talking about COVID. Like, you're talking about potential COVID misinformation about like different medicines or whatever.
Yeah.
Horse paste and things of that nature.
That's right.
Right.
Or just the idea that it's like not a real thing, you know, like, oh, it doesn't exist, or, you know, Jesus will protect us, or whatever.
Are you going to step in and say, like, Sitch, come on, this is easy? Well, we know the trick with truth is it's really hard to figure out, like, who has the truth, and curtailing freedom of speech, I would argue, is hindering your ability to come to truth.
I would say the maxim, if it's a maxim that I'd use, would be, you know, you're entitled to your own opinion. You're not entitled to your own facts.
Yeah, but
finding
all
arguments now are kind of, we're not really in a world where people argue their opinions. We're kind of in a world where people argue what the facts are.
Right. And well, that's exactly what I'm trying to remedy, because that's not really up for debate.
The
you
problem
know, like,
is that
don't tend to be super debatable things, but it seems like they are in this current social context, this paradigm, and that's why I think we need to break it.
The problem is
otherwise there is no truth. I mean, if you want to just live in a totally postmodernist fuck the truth world, then I mean, like,
I don't. The problem is that so many people have lost such faith with our institutions, and that's the only way to like an institution to make a fact claim. And if we don't have faith in our medical institutions, like, if we look at our medical institutions right now in America, which are like the BLM protests are a good example. So before George Floyd died and all the BLM protests took off, you had people on the right who were coming out and they were protesting against mask mandates and lockdowns, things of that nature. And we had all these, you know, institutions and experts and doctors, and the news would all come out and say, look at these assholes. They're getting in large protest groups and they're spreading, you know, more COVID.
They're killing us.
Right. And then as soon as the BLM protests come out, you had this bizarre like reversal where you had the news reporting that, you know, 100 or 1,000 doctors signed off saying that, well, actually, because the protests are outside, you know, it's totally fine for, you know, thousands and thousands of people across the country to get in mass and protest protest against systemic violence. Right. So it's when things like that happen that people just basically don't trust anything the institutions say.
Right.
Don't
well, but
trust,
this is because
a fact-finding institute to make that decision.
But this is exactly because people have gotten to this point in their egos or whatever, where they legitimately think that reality bends to their whims, that facts just bend around what their will, and that whatever they want to be true just is. And like, yeah, the whole shebang, like the COVID didn't become less contagious just because you now agree with the protest. That's silly.
Right.
Obviously, that's silly. Doctors signing notes that say that like, oh, well, magically now the entire nature of the disease has changed is obviously stupid. The fact of the matter is you didn't like that protest, so it must be bad and spreading disease, and you did like this one, so oh no, never mind, that doesn't spread disease anymore. Right. Well, so I mean, like, but that's exactly like the sort of like just like casual dismissal of truth that I'm talking about here. Like you can't just decide the truth based on your ideology. It has to be the other way around.
No, I mean, I agree 100%, but what I'm saying is that if you're going to have some arbiter kind of lay out, especially like in terms of misinformation, you know, in politics, if you have an arbiter lay out and say, this is misinformation, this is against fact, the only thing that could do that is an institution that people have trust in to act non-politically. Right. And no one has faith in that. And I don't have faith in any institution. And that was just the example I was bringing it with the COVID protest.
I mean, well, if we get to the point of having no faith in any institution, which I think we're kind of already there,
right? Then
like you don't have a society at that point. But a society without institutions is not. It can't function.
Yeah, but you're talking about giving those institutions the ability to censor people's speech, though. We're saying that's bad.
But specifically with the virus, like the signing the letter saying racism is a real pandemic, ridiculous. But the most ridiculous thing is that what we found out now is that outdoor transmission wasn't really that big of a thing. So anybody could have protested. That was actually one of the safer things that you could have done. But all of our medical institutions were like doing lockdowns and preventing people from going outside and exercising. And this was done by, you know, the US government, the European governments. So if you were going to censor speech in the name of fighting against COVID misinformation, all of the authorities agreed that telling you that actually outside's not as dangerous as inside, they would have called that the misinformation. So you're not even preventing the harms that you would try to do.
Well, that's why there has to be, but you know, that's why there has to be an actual standard that's just beyond, like it has to be as removed as possible from human beings and our biases, because that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm trying to remove from the equation to the greatest extent possible. Like it should be based on raw science.
But if your example is something that is novel and we're not sure how it's going to mutate, we're not sure how it's going to affect a broad population and all these other things, then like your example of the thing you're trying to prevent is a chaotic evolving situation where this board would not be able to exist.
And if that's what the reality reflects, then that's what the policy should reflect. If it's like, hey, we just like this thing is evolving rapidly and we don't know what it's going to fucking do, then the policy needs to reflect that.
But that's that's your example though for why you would censor speech. But obviously things changed, and like, and then there was ridiculous things like people.
So are you saying the rules shouldn't adapt to the change in the situation? Because
it adapts fast. So essentially, if a group of your scientists,
we have a society that, and it's not. I mean, well, COVID's not part of society, but you know what I mean. We have a society where social change happens way faster than institutional change. And that's another issue. Like our institutions are slow. They're lumbering. They react to what was the conditions yesterday rather than conditions today. Nothing is effective. Everything seems gridlocked. So it's no wonder people have lost faith in institutions. But yeah, I think these are exactly the sort of things that need to be repaired. Like we can't, like it seems to me like the argument being made here is like, well, people don't trust institutions, so don't even try to solve anything.
No, that's not the argument. The argument is that your example was COVID. Things changed positions changed from all the experts on this specific issue so many times. But if you had a system where you were like, listen, everybody who's going against the stated current idea of the truth is a danger to society and needs to be censored, then we'd still be doing ridiculous things that we were doing in the beginning, like sanitizing surfaces, by the way, also a waste of time. And that doesn't help anything. It makes the situation worse.
How would we still be doing that?
Because
what's your logic behind that?
There
So-
would be no
so what-
challenge to the institutional logic that is put
Well, I mean,
forward.
it's
What you're essentially
like
making
things
the
didn't,
argument.
things didn't change because of challenges the institution. They changed because of new research.
Which
but-
challenged the previous research. What
Like,
you're
but-
essentially
but there's a difference in being like, hey guys, we don't know, more research and study is needed into this, versus like, COVID's a hoax. Nothing. The vaccine's full of nanobots. Like
Sure,
those.
sure.
Like there's things that are like, hey, I mean, like no one
Mhm.
should say. We shouldn't take like an edge case of like, hey, the science isn't settled yet. We don't know about this. More research is needed versus like stuff that's just like demonstrably false. Like
But-
those aren't the same.
I don't know
thing. Like,
why are
you're
you
trying
guys
to act like every gray area would be like a case for
But
like
some-
censorship.
do
why
do
are
agree-
you guys
do
why are
agree
you
that
guys
some-
arguing in the context of COVID when you have
I'll move
such
it
a
off. I'll move it off
look,
of that.
look,
I'm just
Well, that
look,
was the example
Sean,
that-
you have
that
such
TJ
a
brought
better
up.
argument in the sex and gender stuff because literally research is being, denied because it affects, marginalized communities. They're literally censoring people's speech over this because they've come to the wrong conclusions. It's
I don't
it's
know
Galileo.
anything about
It's
that,
Galileo all over again. But you're
Yep,
sitting here
but-
arguing about COVID, which is a
well, it was the example that he brought up.
yeah. But
my
what,
issue
what
is-
examples do we have where freedom of speech is actually tangibly hurting scientific inquiry? It's the sex and gender stuff, is it not?
where freedom of speech is hurting that, or
Yeah.
or
lack of freedom of speech.
The lack of freedom of speech. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I-
it's a domineering ideology. But the issue I'm having is that obviously, TJ, you agree that if you're going to have a standard like this, then you're going to have some institutions to enforce this standard, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Whether they be
Truth.
national or
Scientific
international.
truth only. Correct.
Yeah.
But you also acknowledge that science is an evolving process,
Sure.
and that people do experiments, and sometimes they're not even like your official designated scientists, like they're actually like randos that are out there.
Sure.
So if you create a standard where like it's not acceptable to propose alternatives to what the current established.
Wait, but that's not what I said. I didn't say it's not acceptable to propose alternatives. I said it's not acceptable to lie.
Yeah, but those
It's not the same
alternatives
thing.
will be
Proposal of alternative-
those
Wait,
alternatives
questioning
will be
orthodoxy,
perceived of as a lie.
Then fuck perception. Don't worry about perception. Just
Well,
worry
you've
about
al-
what
you've already said-
actually is or isn't true.
but wait, the part of the problem, like this came up with you're talking about fraud, is that when Joe Rogan is talking about whatever the horse thing's called, I can't think of the name.
Ivermectin.
Ivermectin, yeah. Or even when people before that were talking about hydrochloroquine or
Yeah.
whatever.
Hydroxyquin.
I don't think any of these people were like, I know this isn't actually doing anything. I'm lying about it. These people really believe this stuff.
Right.
Right, but so
Or they
they're not
thought it was
lying.
worth experimenting with, like, testing or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, if they want to say, like, hey, I think that this has potential as a drug and maybe there's some efficacy here, then I'm
Mhm.
fine with that.
That's what they were
Um,
saying.
And well, no, but I think some people were fucking going a little further than that. When some people started hailing it as like this cures COVID, like
Right.
that's to me a lie. Versus
Yes.
like there might be some efficacy in this of treating COVID. Like it's a subtle but important distinction.
What
between,
about
like,
what about when the
here is
mainstream?
something-
What about
Yeah,
when the
go ahead.
mainstream media calls it horse paste or horse tranquilizers when it's actually used as a drug for human beings? I mean, then they're the ones lying.
Sure. Well, I mean, like if it comes down to that, I mean, I don't think I think you could possibly censor every single lie that happens. But like,
Mhm.
if there's a lie that is deleterious to society demonstrably, and it can be 100% verifiably proven as a lie, then yeah, there should be some kind of crackdown on that.
Yeah. The trouble is
sure, I
where
don't know.
where
If
you're
someone
finding
if someone goes out there and says that this is like horse paste, I think you have to ask, like, is this a hyperbolic statement? Is this a humorous statement? Is this meant to be like a derisive, mocking statement? Or are they genuinely saying, like, this is not a drug for human beings and this is only a horse drug? Because there's always going to be, gray areas of speech. I think that it's like, if anytime there's a gray area, you should definitely side on the side of freedom. Anytime someone wants to question something, side with freedom. They should obviously have but like if someone, what I'm talking about is the edge cases where people demonstrably put forth ideas that are like proven false or that there is no evidence to support whatsoever.
What about people who suppress
Give an
ideas that are
example.
actually true?
COVID is a hoax would be an example.
Sure. Or,
Oof, gotta be
Any-
careful though, because what
I
about
mean,
the
that's
people who
such a
just
broad
Or there is a
statement.
God
so-
for that matter,
But to be fair, on the COVID is a hoax one, for example, what if just someone said like, "Nah, I think the numbers are exaggerated"? If they said that, I'm assuming your line is like, okay, they
nah,
can say that.
I think so. Their exact statement is, nah, I think the numbers are exaggerated.
Yeah.
I mean, they prefaced it with "I think." They're not claiming any sort of like actual
Okay, so
knowledge or authority there. So I mean,
If they
it
say
seems like
they've got-
it sounds like something that someone would be casually saying at like a family dinner or something. I mean, I don't think you could crack down on that.
So like, if they just went a little bit further and said, you know what, those numbers are just exaggerated.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they were like in a mass media, like if they were just like
If Alex Jones,
if someone made the declaration, the COVID numbers are exaggerated,
Mhm.
then yeah, I think that you could do something.
Yeah, because my worry with stuff like that is that it's going to become a cancer of like once that's a trigger for getting banned, it's like all kinds of different statements that are really quick or just casual can then end up getting you banned as well. And then
Well, I mean,
it starts being like, well, how come COVID's the only one? We should start doing that for
I don't know
all
that banning
subjects,
from
right?
the internet, like net or whatever, is like the solution to that. But you know,
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I think it depends on the forum and who's saying it, and what
like,
their
obviously,
explanation was, and whether they're willing to rescind it. A number of things.
I gun for the classic, like, somebody get that man a debate with someone else who thinks the opposite, and let's see see what's going on. Let's get some ideas clashing. That's my favorite.
Well, the problem
way
is
to-
that maybe the person who has the falsehood is like a charismatic,
I agree with you. I hate it.
talking, good-looking, ultimate, rhetorician with big vocabulary
Look at
and
this.
very
Right?
persuasive.
Not reading
arguments,
off a
and then the person-
teleprompter.
Yeah, that's that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And then the person
charismatic.
who's arguing the other side is like a weak-willed
So,
sort of like.
What if you had somebody who thought like something that's like damaging to our institutions and could go into problems like that? Let's say a candidate, we'll call him Bernie Sanders, had the Democratic primary stolen from him. Like, would that qualify as something that needs to be censored?
I think that if you made it as an outright statement, maybe.
Mhm.
But I think if you said like, hey, I think there's some reasons. I think the election needs to be looked into. I think there's some discrepancies here that don't make sense. And I think that the DNC might have engaged in some tactics that are against the principles for which they claim to stand.
What if those tactics were having more black people vote for Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton?
I mean, I don't think they had anyone do anything. I think those black people chose to do that.
But that's why he lost the primaries, though.
Sure. I mean, I think that obviously, you get less votes, you lose the fucking election. There's no arguing that. But, that doesn't mean that there wasn't some chicanery.
Tell that to Trump, buddy.
Some different well, what about Trump?
Tell that to Trump, buddy. 2016, less votes won the election.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Electoral college.
Out of curiosity, because you said like one of the extreme problems we'll end up with is a big charismatic leader in a bubble sort of arguing with an idiot, all clips of idiots, and then they'll only galvanize their audience further and further and further. It's like,
well, not necessarily idiots, just people who aren't charismatic, people who don't really, which by the way, a lot of scientists don't tend to be very charismatic people.
bunch
That's
of
fair, but
nerds.
I was also just going to say, like, to be fair, you should worry that they would argue with stupid people too, because stupid people can fuck up a whole argument if they don't understand it, right? Like if they, I believe in the good
or
argument,
if they
but I can't actually
pretend
argue
to
it.
understand
Yeah,
things
that too.
they don't. Like,
but obviously the reverse extreme.
if he was bringing up the Mott and Bailey shit, and I was just like, oh yeah, I follow. I know exactly what you're talking about.
in that universe, right? In that
oh
universe,
yeah, I know all about that.
If, say, for example, we had someone on YouTube who was doing that, we'd still have all of those people being able to take that video and then respond to it themselves, probably efficiently. And so there's still that fight going on. Meanwhile, I think the extreme of the other side would be oh yes, we've curtailed, this, and now it's like, wait, did we just step on something that's actually true? And then it's just like, yeah, but it didn't. We didn't know it for sure at the time, and so it just felt a bit off.
Well, I mean,
so
that's why,
we got
like,
rid
you
of it.
have to. If there's any uncertainty, there has to just be a default towards, free speech.
But the next question is, right? Like, who decides that?
I mean, hopefully it should be decided by more than one person. I don't think you want to put that. I don't think you want to put that in the hands of a person. And honestly, I feel like as much as possible, you should take human beings out of the process.
But what happens?
The problem it faces every time, though, right? That's like the end of the dialogue tree is the Ministry of Truth, basically. Which is like,
Right.
Well, no, the Ministry of Truth was an institution that was designed to propagate misinformation. This is an institution designed to curtail it completely.
I'm also,
but that's not how power works.
Referencing it mockingly, like that's what we can. End
well, yeah,
up
I mean,
at.
like I've heard this argument before. I mean, this is like the common argument that comes up when I put this position out there. So yeah,
and it's the reason.
But I mean,
why
it's like, well, it's just like, well, anything's going to be corrupted and blah 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 blah. I mean, like it's tedious and tiresome to me because it just comes back around to this idea, like, why even have any institutions then? If everything is just going to be, if any power we give anyone with the best of intentions is going to ultimately be corrupted, then just give up on fucking life.
Well, this is why.
Give up on improving anything. Give
that's
my whole point.
No. Checks and balances whatsoever.
Hold on.
No. So you're just like, just yield.
No, you're making.
I give up.
We're not going
whatever. It's all just doomed to failure anyway.
You're making
inevitably collapse into the entropy of corruption.
I think that's more your side than ours, though.
But you're
practically saying, let's give it to the Ministry of Truth. Fuck it. What else? We can't do any better. And we're saying, no, fight for the ideas. Fight for them. Say, no, you're fucking wrong. This is the right idea.
And look, I'm in favor of a government with some democratic elements in it, but due to the fact that the history of the world is authoritarian government after authoritarian government, I want built into the Constitution or the document that founds that government blocks on the power that they can use. And that's not because I'm against any institutions or any progress going forward. It's just that I know that if you don't explicitly limit the government from doing this thing, then they will do it historically.
Right. Well, that's why checks and balances have to be a part of any system that's proposed.
Well, I think the broader systemic flaw, I guess, or problem I have with the argument you're laying out is that I think ultimately free speech is the process or is the tool that can keep is the only thing maybe that can keep institutions from keep institutions on the path of being truth-seeking organizations.
Yeah,
because if you remove free speech from that, then they have it doesn't matter. They can do whatever they want.
I mean, we don't remove freedom of speech. You have like certain curtailings of fucking aspects of speech, just like we already do.
Yeah, but you're conflating.
Possible, right? As few as possible. That's what anyone should be after.
Well, but
you want as few as possible, and you obviously don't want anything that, like, you don't want to censor anybody's opinion. You don't want to censor questions. You don't want to censor, like, this is a gray area of unsettled science or unsettled fucking fact. Like,
that is being censored right now.
That's kind of what the examples we were trying to go through were.
Yeah, but you're also like you're pushing like a Marcusean tolerance thing, which, your fellow travelers don't even respect the scientific method or reason anyway. So like the idea that you would use this as a standard when
I don't really care about fellow travelers.
Sean, are you trying deliberately to change the subject as much as possible?
No, I'm not trying to change the subject.
It feels like you are really bit. Like you're totally doing. This is technically a whataboutism. What about you?
No, it's not a whataboutism. I'm not saying what about this. I'm just saying that.
Well, you're saying like they don't even follow science.
We're missing precious seconds. Hey, TJ, genuine question. What's the significant difference between hyperbole and misinformation?
Hyperbole tends to have an element of facetiousness to it, I guess.
Is that not very interpretable?
Yeah.
And therefore, in a world where misinformation is getting curtailed, a lot.
Once again, like always err on the side of freedom, right?
Well, so
but wait,
you're not though. That's the thing.
Wait, no, hold on. So you can. I like that. Always err on the side of freedom. That's great. This is not the position that you put forward in your video.
No.
Like if this position you put forward now with us was your video, we wouldn't have never even covered
I'm just explaining it a little deeper. I mean, I don't know. It's like you.
Well, but this is where
there's the problem of like the superficiality of like hearing one statement that a person makes, and then like, oh, I understand.
Sure, yeah. Responsibility.
It wasn't
you
one
start to describe a lot of like tribal attributes to people, like, oh, well, they're part of this tribe, so they probably believe this and this and this and this, and then you have like this whole litany of
and thanks for coming
of attributes that you've decided a person exemplifies or something, even though it's not necessarily the case.
TJ, and thanks for coming on
I think
to
you're
try.
doing a
Sean,
shut
right
the
fuck fuck up.
I think he's doing a mop and bucket. Like, honestly, if I'm being honest, the mop
Mop
is
and
out,
bucket.
and he's trying to make sure you don't attack his bucket.
He's
Okay.
yeah,
The mop and
okay, I
bucket,
like it.
man.
So the
The
Mott
mop
and
and
Bailey, I
bucket.
like that. The mop and bucket.
See, there you go.
All
like
right.
it
Good.
too.
No, but I think
Let's
this
wrap
is, and
this
kind
up,
of what-
okay? I'm getting tired of this.
Oh,
No.
Well,
having fun.
are we gonna have like a
I'm
real
not.
conversation here? Are we all gonna talk
where the
over
fuck
one
have you
another?
been? I've
Where,
been
yeah, I don't know
talking
what
to him
Adam. I don't
and
know what
having
you're
fun. What the fuck?
upset about, honestly. But what I was
Well,
gonna say, I
I'm
think
trying to
this is what
drill
Mahler-
on an actual argument here.
Okay,
so.
stop. We're drilling on something very important.
Yes.
Okay. Which is that this is what Mahler brought up, something about hyperbole versus like misinformation or disinformation. And it feels like, and this happens with a lot of content creators on YouTube, is that in order to create like an artistic piece or order to sort of create something engaging, the message becomes so hyperbolic that it's basically it doesn't even match whatever the original intention was. And when I listen and I look, because I have like the transcript of the video open, when I look at the transcript of that and I look at what you're saying now, you're so hyperbolic in your video that I don't even see, like, there seems so worlds difference of opinion that you're giving.
All right, well, maybe you can give me an example.
Well, okay, so first of all, you lead the whole thing about saying that, Republicans don't care, or people on the right don't care about freedom of speech. They just want to say the N-word. And you kind of go into this, I was naive to believe in free speech, but now you're going to be, where is it? You're saying you're going to be, ending up on the train to Auschwitz, essentially.
Yeah.
Because of... So,
Okay,
but do you
I
see
don't
where...
really, I don't really see where's the discrepancy?
So if you're laying out an argument that says, right-wingers don't believe in free speech, they just want to be racist, and I was naive to believe in the importance of free speech, and you said I was naive to believe that, in a debate of ideas, the truth would prevail, and then you say, you're going to end up on this train to Auschwitz, essentially. I mean, these are much stronger claims for we need to restrict speech, other than this. Well, we need to err on the side of caution in gray areas.
So, but when I said that a lot of people on the right just want to use the N-word and this and that, I wasn't using that as an example of the kind of speech that should be censored. I was using that as an example of the kind of free speech they actually prize, the kind of free speech that they actually want or care about. And I actually would not censor that, because to me, that's an opinion. And, I don't want to censor opinion. So, I think they should still have the right to talk whatever hateful shit they want to. But I was just pointing out that seems to be the only instance in which they actually care about free speech.
Yeah, but but you're laying out an argument that you think, and you're like, oh, I want to be Tim Poolish, but I think we're leading to the path of civil war and to Auschwitz. And
Well,
if you're
I do believe that.
Right. So, but you're creating you're crafting an argument where you're saying free speech is leading us down the path of the Civil War and Auschwitz, so that we need to curtail this.
Well, I don't know if it came across like that, then I guess that maybe I should have worded it better, because I don't think that's what I intended to say.
Okay.
I think what I was just saying is, I think I was just maybe just generally pissed at right-wing ideology, and was just talking about the ultimate expression of it and what it seems like people on the right actually want. I don't think that freedom of speech is what leads you there. I think that, belief in right-wing ideology is what leads you there.
Okay.
So I guess I maybe conflated a couple of different issues there. And maybe I should have worded it better. But I don't think I was trying to make the case that freedom of speech directly causally leads to that outcome.
Well, okay. Well, I guess I'll ask you, what were you trying? I mean, the video is labeled free speech and death camps. So what is the point, I guess, of the video then?
It's not like free speech leads to death camps. I don't know.
That's how it comes across.
Right. Well,
me.
I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe it was clumsily done. I mean, I've been doing this thing in July where I've been trying to do a video every day. And sometimes, there might be a little rush job here and there.
Right.
So maybe some ideas were casually thrown together that were maybe a causal link was implied more strongly than I intended it to be, because of the nature of that challenge that I gave to myself. So I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch and see like what I was saying there.
So what was your point in the video then?
I mean, my point was I was just trying to wake people up to the fact that they have an enemy that wants to do them harm. I mean, I think
man, how can that possibly not backfire at all, though? And that's got to be the justification for so many people you would say need to be curtailed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I hate hearing it.
You can wake people up to a perceived enemy.
I don't know. I mean, like, should I tell? I mean, I don't want to tell them that, like, hey, these right wingers are all a bunch of, cuddly, fluffy teddy bears who don't wish you ill will, because I don't believe that.
Right.
Like, I live in the South. I live in one of those conservative areas in the country. I hear what these people fucking say. I hear them fucking talk about shooting and we gotta fucking get the, N-words back under slavery and all this shit. I've heard these motherfuckers say this shit. So, like, don't tell me what's what, motherfucker. I know how these motherfuckers think.
But that's not all conservatives, though.
What are you talking about? That didn't refute shit.
That didn't refute shit? I literally have been around these people my entire fucking life, dude. Like, what personal experience doesn't count for anything?
Do you think my argument is there's nobody who's just an asshole or evil in the world? Do you really think I was arguing there's no racists?
I'm talking about, like, the majority of the fucking right wingers that live down here, at least down south, at least this particular variant. Like, if I was to go into a room full of like a bunch of Republicans around here and I would just say, like, man, things were better back in slavery days, you would not hear a peep against what I fucking said. I'm telling you that fucking straight up.
Yeah, and that exists on every literal argument. I'm not even talking about left and right. There's just everywhere, all over the spectrum. You got the crazies. We all know this.
Well,
I'm telling you I mean, it's not the crazy. See, you keep trying to reduce it down to this crazy fringe. It's not. It's the mainstream. It's what they all really fucking believe behind the mask. It's the fucking Bailey or the Mott or whatever the fuck is what.
See, he's using this all Republicans, all conservatives are racist argument. That's the stereotype.
By the way, mask on, mask off is the correct thing, not Mott and Bailey for this situation.
Yeah, I mean, like, do I think every single Republican is racist? No. But do I think a lot of them are? Yes.
Well, you're acting in the world.
Of them are, of
you're
course.
acting in the world as if they all are. And that's a stereotype.
That's because
you're spreading.
Wait, but if there is a fucking
what
party
happened to Hyperbole?
if there's a party that gives shelter and fucking
the Hyperbole's gone.
That's racism. Then you have to treat them all the same.
But here's the issue. Wait.
It's like the scene in the Matrix where you have the thing about, like, hey, these are the people we're trying to free, but until they are, they're your fucking enemy.
Well, yeah. So are you being hyperbolic or not then?
I mean, I think that there's an element of hyperbole, but I also think there's
No. What does it to do with that? Like, how do I argue with a position that's simultaneously not and hyperbolic?
I mean, well, can't something be slightly hyperbolic?
Slightly hyperbolic, I guess.
Well, would it help you, Mauler, if you got like a specific percentage?
I mean, like, wait
a minute.
Are you saying there's not a gradient of exaggeration?
Of course there is, but what am I supposed to do with this?
What's the fucking problem?
The fact that you said Republicans are like, they're all going to want to do X, that I'm like, that's not true. And you're like, plenty of them around me do. It's like, being hyperbolic.
Well, how is plenty of them around me do not a fucking argument to you? Because it's
you're
anecdotal?
talking about the whole world.
Well, okay. Let me address it.
This
is why this isn't an argument. Okay, this was Tim Pool's argument for Trump was going to win a landslide in the elections because he drove around and he saw lots of Trump signs where he lived. Okay,
but the five people he talked to,
exactly.
Pennsylvania, said that they were all shifting Republican. But also, like, I mean, how are you going to say that it's not even a personal experience? Like, you're depicting a caricature. The idea that all these people are like, whoa, we got to bring back slavery. Like, no, come on.
I'm so proud of you, Sean. You didn't change the topic. That's very good. I like that.
Dude, I mean, like, come on. Like, quit bullshitting.
Who wants to own a slave?
Lots of people down south, I'll tell you that.
I've talked to him.
If you had to ask somebody on 100-degree day, what would make your day better? Air conditioner, which wasn't around in slavery times, or owning a slave? Like, you really think that they would pick a slave?
It can follow you with the fan.
I mean, it depends on like, obviously now they would choose the air conditioner because slavery is not socially acceptable. But, like, if it was, I don't know.
But you just said that you heard all these people talking.
Yeah,
about
evidently it is socially
better.
acceptable.
Like, so it is
down
socially
south.
acceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't say it was socially acceptable. Obviously, we don't have slavery down here anymore. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people who feel that
Wait, so
It was
I'm
a
actually.
It was a mistake. I mean, like you see, like this. You've heard like the South will rise. Like, what do you think that means? The South will rise again. What do you think? All the Confederate flags flying around and all the defense of the statues and all this shit. What do you think that's about? You think it's just like, oh man, that's just our heritage. We just really like that statue because it's heritage.
Okay, so out of curiosity, right?
You think they would be just as defensive if it was a statue of Karl Marx? Like, well, that's history. Don't tear the Karl Marx statue down. That's history, y'all.
Well,
like,
it's not our history.
You know, we talked about how you said it would be fine to have the opinion that, for example, COVID numbers are exaggerated. Would be fine if you think that as an opinion. If I was to have stated it as fact, and I said my citation is that I have a family member in the hospitals that is in on it, and is
obviously
is
anecdote only goes so far. That's true.
Well, I was just going to say, like, would you want me to be silenced if I actually start arguing I have a COVID family member who's in on it and knows about it, but they're trying to stop it from the inside, sort of thing?
I mean, I think I'd want to investigate.
But if I said like, there's no way to investigate because I don't want to get them in trouble.
I don't know. Then I guess I mean, whatever. It's a zero sum thing at that point. Like whatever.
Because the point I'm trying to get at, of course, is that there's a lot of ways we can argue really broad and spicy positions right back down to something that's a bit more like, hey, you know, I'm speaking hyperbolically about my experiences in my life, okay? And it's like, right. But you can blow that right back up to something that's much more, let's say.
I mean, that didn't sound like hyperbole. So you said you have direct knowledge of the COVID being a fraud.
Well,
because
hyperbole
some family member said this or that or the other thing, or directly is involved in a conspiracy. That's not
hyperbole. Hyperbole is one of several ways you can reduce it down. I wasn't using it in that example. I was just saying.
Okay, gotcha.
Because you said like opinions should be okay, but stating things as fact shouldn't. But then if I said I'm stating it as a fact because of something that you can't disprove, what then?
Well, then I mean, like I said, you got to err on the side of freedom.
Couldn't I justify everything that way though? I'd be able to say anything at that point, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're clever enough to phrase it a certain way, you could pretty much still get away with everything. Yes.
No. But in terms of the what you want to be laid out, you can still get away with everything.
In terms of what you want to be laid out?
In terms of what you wanted to lay out, in terms of like the Ministry of Truth, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can still get away with a lot of stuff. You couldn't get away with everything. You couldn't get away with unambiguous direct statements that such and such is factual when it's not. But yeah, I mean, if you wanted to be like, oh, I was just, joking around or this or that, or you find some kind of cover for it. Yeah, there's always loopholes.
Well, could you get away with your statement about all these Republicans want to bring back slavery?
Yeah. I'm telling I'm giving an anecdotal example.
Yeah, but you're extrapolating it out to a broader group.
Yeah, totally.
Sure. So wait,
would that wouldn't work with the races or LGBT community?
So wait, if I had scientifically documented it, like if I went around and like recorded, like how many people do I have to hear it from before like it's a sample size? Like,
well, that's exactly it. If you take like a poll and you got a poll of Republicans saying that they want to bring back slavery,
like it'd have to be something that was like more revelatory. Because of course, anyone's asked like, "Are you racist?"
Neuralink.
Like, no, of course not.
If it's assuming you could hypothetically, okay, then yes, you could say, okay, you conducted a poll.
But I'm asking, like, what kind of random sampling size would demonstrate that there is a predilection towards racism in at least Southern Republicans?
No, but you understand that whatever your personal experience is, that's not indicative of the whole. Really?
Why not?
Because that's not how polling works. That's not how statistics or populations function.
Oh, wait, but like,
what's big
this is the Tim Pool driving around and seeing Trump signs, so Trump's going to win argument.
But he drove around and saw Trump signs, and that was indicative of the fact that Trump has a wide base of support, which he did. Now saying that because of that he was going to win was a bridge too far. But saying I see a lot of Trump signs, therefore Trump has a lot of support, that's not a fucking ridiculous statement at all. It's just truth.
Okay. So you're saying you're going around and you're hearing all these Republicans saying that they.
I mean, I don't know. I don't
want to bring back
slavery. Republicans. I know that they're
or right wing
people. I know there are people who live in one of the reddest districts in America.
Yes.
And I know that this area is predominantly Republican, but I guess I don't know that every example I hear of a racist is a Republican.
I'll grant you that every racist you hear is Republican for the sake of the conversation. Okay.
Well, I'm saying I don't know that.
What are they saying though? Like, did they come up to you and they say, "Oh, hey, TJ,
well, they don't come up
we
to
should
me.
bring slavery
Of course,
back."
they're not coming up to me and saying shit.
When you're at the Klan meeting and they're talking about bringing back slavery,
Yeah,
like how many people are there?
Yeah,
lots of them, tons. That's how I know.
Right. No, but like, how did these conversations?
This just seems like such disingenuous bullshit right now.
Well,
like,
you're the
because if I was giving an anecdote that you guys about something you guys agreed with like this, like, oh man, I was hanging around all these trannies and they were talking about how like they fucking totally deceive the scientific institutions and stuff. You'd be like, oh yeah, brother, yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
anecdotal evidence is like a meme thing people bring up all the time. Like, don't give me an anecdote. Like we've all been there. We try to avoid using anecdotes. And
I mean, like I prefaced it as saying it's anecdotal. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt if you want. But I'm just explaining to you what I have seen.
I'm curious. There's a bunch of Republicans in California. Do they all want to bring back slavery? Does it differ?
I don't know. I don't have enough
state?
experience with Republican fucking in California, so I don't know.
Right, but you're willing to paint all those Republicans in California as wanting to bring back slavery.
I don't fucking think I painted them with shit.
Well, you kind of are. I mean, that's what you're saying.
How?
Well, you're saying most of them want to do this thing, therefore I can extrapolate that I can make a judgment against most of them.
I don't feel like I said anything like that, so I think that's a straw man.
Well, you in your video, you said that the only reason Republicans or conservatives care about freedom of speech is because they want to say the N-word. How is that not all of them?
That's hyperbole.
Oh, that's the hyperbole part.
I'm sorry. Do you guys not have any broad brushes in your paint in your little paint box? Because I feel like you probably do.
Listen, this is the origin though of things like racism and bigotry and all kinds of nasty things that we try to avoid. We don't want to say that all gay people are this particular way.
I don't remember ever saying the word all. Okay, so.
Well, you kind of did. I mean, your video was basically saying the only reason Republicans care about freedom of speech is because they want to use the N-word, which implies that they're racist. It does. Sure. I mean, how is that? So is it?
I would assume that there's probably, look, there's always exceptions to every fucking sort of generality. Mm-hmm. I don't think that every Republican is that way.
So I think a lot of them are. Hold on. Even now, you're characterizing the non-racist Republican as an exception. That's so bad.
Well, it's fucking true. I mean, I'm sorry. Do you want me to fucking sit here and lie to you?
Oh, I missed it. What happened?
I would also say that why wouldn't it activate an audience well enough to say there are people who think this way, rather than painting the whole the team that way? Why wouldn't you be able to worry your people enough to be like, we should act to prevent the bad ones from winning? Rather than just being like, I'll let them think it's all of them. Fuck it, hyperbole. I
don't know. What's the question?
Basically, one of the bigger arguments is like, I can go broader, I can brush that way because it's almost true in lots of different aspects, plus hyperbole, blah blah blah. When I'm saying like the overall goal to activate your audience, you could do that anyway with the examples of the awful individuals. You wouldn't need to paint the whole.
I don't think there's any reason to be disingenuous with the audience. And
that's what we're arguing.
This is the point.
No,
though.
I don't see. This thing is like, I feel like there is a mental block happening where you guys just refuse to accept that like this shit is way worse on one side than it is the other. I don't know if it's like a both sidesism thing.
No, it's not that. I'm just curious, what's the percentage, since you're like not saying all, but you're saying in general, of like white people in the South that you've come across that are like possibly Republican?
Because obviously I don't fucking have a.
What would
be your percentage for the bring back slavery crowd?
Yeah, give us an idea. Ballpark.
All right. So prefacing
no hyperbole.
No hyperbole. Prefacing this by saying that like this is my rough guess.
Your gut intuition check, yes.
My intuition, so take it as just that. Mm-hmm. In the particular area that I'm in, the candid conversations that I've been subjected to, it's kind of hard to say because, I don't know what the areas that I go might be predominantly reflective of different demographics than like the overall demographics of the area. But I don't know. I'd say at least 10, 15%.
Oh my God. That's so
Dude.
horrible. Okay. At least,
I mean, I'm sorry that the reality that I've experienced is like so troublesome, but
Right.
it is. I don't know.
It's just funny, honestly.
But you're saying
How is it
85%
funny?
of you're
'Cause
saying
you're just in fucking
85%.
denial, bro. Like,
Well, you're
not
saying
fucking
you're
denial.
you're in denial. You're literally
listen,
saying
listen,
85% of the
TJ,
Republicans in the South are not racist.
if you said like, listen, like 10, 15% based on my
What percent would be
experience.
comfortable with slavery, not what aren't racist. If you want to ask me how many are racist, I'd say like 90.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
fuck! All right.
if you gave me like that solid 10
No,
to
that
15%
wasn't
for
the
your
question you asked me. You asked me what percentage would support slavery coming back. So you're talking about like extreme racism, but there's different levels of racism, obviously.
yeah,
Right.
that's why I'm laughing. If you gave me the 10 to 15 for like the definite like hardcore racist, I'd be
Right.
like, all right, you know what, that's your experience. But like, come on, like why are we even talking about slavery right now? Like it's so absurd. Like
Why? I don't
it's
know.
over.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it is over. That's true. Very good, Sean. True fact. I mean, he's when he's right, he's right. Slavery is over.
Well, no, it's not. Haven't you seen what's going on in these prisons?
The 13th Amendment didn't abolish slavery; it legalized it.
That's right.
So you guys want to wrap up? I mean, we've been going almost 10 hours here. So TJ, you've been super generous with your time. Will you come back and talk to us again, or is it like over? Are we no longer friends?
It's what
But we
you
were never friends. I mean, this is our first meeting.
Yeah, I never. I don't know. I don't remember. Our
Well, I guess
friendship or whatever. But, hey,
the question is, are we mortal enemies?
I popped in
guess.
at the I popped in at the very end of your stream and shit. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like fair that I would come back if you guys want.
Well,
me
I
to.
just you seem
Sure,
like
thanks.
you seem like a good sport about this stuff, and I mean part of I think the intrigue of our show is we're trying. So many of these conversations are really just people making
I will say
shit
that
up
one of the
about the other
reasons-
side. So
I'll say that one of the reasons that I came on is because when I was watching you guys in the background, as I was like kind of working on some other shit, and you were talking about the video I made to you more recently, I was like, well, you know, these I probably should have been a little bit more charitable to these guys. So I felt a little bad. So,
Yeah.
you know, I decided to
thank
pop
you.
in here and shit. And,
well, your performance in the follow-up video, I think, was just like, I think I said it before you even came on. It was like worlds apart, like high energy, very funny. I thought the Vosh bit was very funny. You know, I mean, we argued a bit. Did you hear us when we were talking about the Vosh thing?
yes. I
Okay.
did. So you were asking, I think
Yeah.
you were speculating about
Yes. Are you-
whether I was like
Yeah.
genuinely like capitulating or whatever.
Capitulating to Vosh. Yes, exactly. Come on, you can tell us. We will. It's just between us. We won't let Vosh know.
No one else needs to know. No, I mean, I have respect for Vosh, and but you know, I'm not gonna fucking hold back joking about it, and I especially like, I don't know, I resent being compared to other people in general. So yeah, I don't know.
Right.
It annoys me. So I don't know. I was not super keen on the comparison, not because I feel like being compared to Vosh is necessarily a negative or unflattering thing, but just because
Right.
I don't like to be compared to others in general.
Well, I
It's
can
like a pet
relate.
peeve.
Yeah.
So
Sure. You're an artist. You're an independent person. You don't want to be.
I guess if
Yeah.
you want to call me that. And you know, I
Listen,
don't know.
you're
I
sitting here with
think
like, how can we not call you an
So-
artist? You don't. TJ, I gotta know. Do you think of yourself as an artist?
I don't know if I'm my pretension has quite reached that level yet, but you know, we'll see.
Good answer.
Hey, TJ, I was there for the release of Brick and Brick 2. Okay,
Yeah, you know, amen.
you are.
So thank you guys for the spirited discussion and shit. And you know, I wish we could have fucking come to more of a, I don't know, a consensus or something. But I don't know. At least it was more fruitful than most discussions that get bogged
Sure,
down
yeah.
in fucking semantics for 20 hours. So
Yeah. Somebody wants me to ask you the 3 questions, so I guess I'm gonna go for it. How many walkers have you killed?
Okay, that's not the 3 questions.
How many
dare you.
people have you killed?
Stop. the
33.
Let me get my Rick voice.
We can ask the 3 questions.
Why?
The
Well,
3 questions TJR, do you think you could defeat a horse-sized duck in a fight?
A horse-sized duck.
Yeah.
No.
Come on, you're 6'6", TJ.
No.
I know, but dude, you fucking ducks breed through rape, okay? Like ducks
This was
are
the
used to
argument I
struggle,
made.
okay? Right? Ducks are used to the fucking struggle.
Right.
They know how to fucking scrap. So I
Yeah.
don't think so.
You got
There
a
you go.
horse-sized, you got a fully erect horse-sized duck coming at you. You run.
Yeah, like that's not a battle. You think like this foe is beyond any of you. You got to go.
Okay. So no. So there's very few people that are on the yes team.
Yeah.
So that's
And
fine.
And they're all it's
that
the
just
delusional
that just proves
team.
that I'm honest. That's
no. They're just based on awesome, but that's fine. It's okay.
sure.
The second question is: are owls birds?
Yeah.
Okay, good. answer.
Good answer. I
I
like
don't
that.
know. They just are. what the fuck even kind of question is that?
Don't worry
Solid.
about it.
Okay.
The third and final question, which you do not have to answer, is a porn question.
Okay.
I feel like you might be fine with it. Is when you if you watch porn, do you
Give me a break.
when you watch porn, do you view yourself as like a participant in it, like the actor is you, or do you view it like you're kind of watching two people like do this thing in front of you?
I always try to put myself into it in my mind, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
That's how most people
Yes.
generally seem to answer the question.
Now you guys have to tell him what job he's going to do after these 3 questions when he grows up.
No.
He's going to be a YouTube commentator. What do you mean?
Might be
Oh,
like
look, the horoscope thing works.
mopper in a porn
But-
store.
Right.
Yeah.
In that regard, though, have you considered getting more involved in like panels and political discussions?
I thought you were
and
going to
stuff?
say porn.
Well,
Why-
that too,
why-
sure.
Just if you consider getting
Mahler.
more involved in porn. Oh yeah, I'm
Why are you
working
taking
on Pineapple Gate right now. Working my way up the fruit spectrum, trying to get to pineapples.
Look at that.
No, I don't really do this panel shit too much, but whatever. I mean, it didn't. Whatever, it was fine.
Panels are cancer. You don't want to do
Yeah.
panels.
You
I don't
call-
really. Yeah, I think I'd like to keep it, minimal. Especially these fucking ones where it's like a hostile fucking panel and everyone fucking disagrees. I want to be on one of these panels talking against one motherfucker that we all hate or something. Be like, fuck you, you're wrong, bitch. But whatever.
You want to be on the mob side.
Yeah, I want to be on the fucking side of the mob next time. What's all
Right.
this fucking shit where I get ganged up on?
Right.
Wait,
yeah.
bullshit.
Well, I was
Sitch,
trying to
ask
avoid
him-
that a bit. So
We don't hate you, and I just want to say that I
sorry.
defended you, and like I even called out Adam for his mop and bucket tactics.
Yeah, that fucking son of a bitch.
mop and bucket. I don't
Wait,
even know what
Sitch.
that means.
Yes.
Ask him which trilogy is the best.
But... No,
That's
come
your
on,
question.
Mauler.
Why am I
That's for
asking that
next
question?
time. We're gonna be here for like 2
no,
hours.
not to talk about it, just to get the answer.
OG trilogy is the best.
Oh,
no. Okay, you
Of
can't choose
course,
it.
that's
Not
the
choosing
that's
that
the
one.
easy
That's the
answer.
obvious one.
It's
Oh,
the
okay,
two
well.
unthinkable options. It's the prequels or
this
the
is a-
sequels.
Let me just say, like, this fucking newfound, like, I respect the prequels ever since this, like, just because a worse piece of shit comes along does not make the previous piece of shit forgivable.
Yeah,
almost.
thank
That's-
you.
that
Oh,
is-
well, I guess
that
that's
is
the
the
answer
best.
then.
Based
Anyway, yeah,
take.
I'll take the prequels because at least they were coherent.
Yay, Team TJ.
There you go.
I'm
Look,
with
listen,
you.
Mahler, you've built a bridge now.
Look at this.
Hell yeah, I
Yeah.
have.
Amazing
There you go.
atheist
Next
community.
time it can be me and TJ versus Sitch and Destiny, I guess.
I'm not on
Yeah.
Destiny's position.
Yeah, you are. You said the prequels were worse.
He's changed.
I've
how
changed my
dare
mind on
you?
that one.
Oh my god.
How dare you,
I said the
Mahler.
You
prequels
mop
are
and
better
bucket.
because of the meme potential now.
You mop
Yeah.
and bucket. it
Actually,
up.
I never said the prequels were worse. I said they were both bad in different ways.
Yeah,
No, you
mop-
did. On
mopped
the
and
internet.
bucket.
Dude,
As far
the
as I'm
ESAP fandom
concerned, the
still
main
hate
thing
you
that
for
makes the
saying it.
prequels, like the prequels are better because it has a coherent beginning, middle, and end that was all like at least somewhat pre-planned and a
think that's
narrative
fair.
structure.
I'm not sure I would agree with that, but okay.
I mean, like,
Actually,
but
I think you could
compared to
defend
the
that.
fucking sequels, at least. I mean, 'cause,
I
like,
guess that's true. That's
it's
true.
like a
Okay.
schizophrenic trilogy that doesn't like. It just seems like someone made it up as they went along because it pretty
Right.
much was. So
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. That's
like I don't know.
fair.
That's very
True.
oofy to me.
Every
Anyway.
movie is a reaction to the previous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just
what
not-
everyone said about the
with
previous
like
movie.
dueling banjos with fucking billions of dollars. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I want you to know, Mueller, I sent you the picture. If you Google Ma and Bailey, okay, that shows that
Oh, we-
I am
we
I
right.
didn't
yeah.
know what
And you are wrong.
perineum.
No, we can
porn
talk
you
about
like.
that if you want.
Uh,
You're wrong.
So
PSA.
to answer you on the perineum
Sitch.
thing, that was actually a super chat that somebody And our editor edited out the super chat, so you wouldn't have known the context because.
Sounds like I'm just talking about perineums for no reason.
Yes.
All right. Well,
wait, did you
thanks for
actually
having
send me a
me on, you
DM?
guys.
Because I didn't get it. Or was that just a
Yeah, that was
I did-
another thing.
No, I did send you that.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right here.
I don't have-
I even
I don't
sent
have
you
it,
some
so.
other stuff as well. Like just like when I was watching you guys, I sent you the. You asked like if I would send you the fascist tendencies that I saw in myself, and I did. But
okay, so
But I already went
you
over
must
that
be
with you
flagged
on
by
the
Twitter
stream,
because
so.
it's not showing up in my DMs at all.
Sometimes like shit can go in like other little stupid inboxes and shit. So it's probably just some
Sitch doesn't
like that.
want to scroll down all the way to the bottom because
It's like,
he's
I
being,
don't feel like
he's
I
being a
can be
little.
Oh, here we go. I
fucking-
got to the bottom. Show
he's being a
additional
little
messages,
fucking
including
bitch.
those that may
Yeah.
contain.
You
Oh,
can
you're
just
right.
click the gear on the fucking.
There it is. Twitter
All
labels
right.
you as offensive content.
Oh no.
So there you go. Oh wow, there's a bunch of
Could be
DMs here I
worse.
wish I probably had never seen before.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah, I'll come back on if you guys want. But
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna go for now.
Take care,
Awesome.
man.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
Enjoy
coming
your
on.
spaghetti that we
Good
never
stuff, man.
saw.
I actually usually just have a random word or phrase that I just like say compulsively for no reason. Spaghetti just happens to be it for the moment.
Okay, that's good.
So there was no spaghetti?
There was
Sorry.
that
There
was
was no
hyperbolic.
spaghetti.
It never was. I should become the victim of my own ministry of truth.
Mop
Yes.
and
My
bucket
deceit.
once again.
He used the meatball spaghetti defense.
I think the
I know, it's crazy.
15% in favor of slavery kind of makes you a victim of your own ministry of truth. But I mean, we'll talk about that next time you come
well,
on.
we can extrapolate that next time you bring me on.
Yeah. Take care, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Dude, that Adam, what you just said was like the Marvel clip at the end of the film after the credits. It's just like,
I was thinking it the whole time. I'm like, where'd the ministry of truth go? Jeez. Like, hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.